that they changed a lot of the movie to fit what they wanted to portray?
It's Hollywood. Yes, they absolutely did.
Do you think it was wrong that they didn't portray any of the investors?
100% wrong. And again, not only did they, you know, the truths behind the movie was so highly exaggerated for Hollywood. And, you know, Jordan basically threw everybody under the bus. I'm not going to mention names, but many of the characters that are in that movie were really portrayed poorly, and I don't think it's fair to them, their families, their children, or anybody else.
What about the drugs and the prostitutes? Real or not real? I mean, I know people always ask that. In fact, when I was coming here today, someone said to me that they saw the movie and they wanted to grab 3 hookers and a bag of coke. I mean, is this real or not real?
I'm sorry, Stephanie.
Go ahead, Rob. I have Rob on.
I don't recall any drugs.
You don't? Then they made up a lot of stuff.
No, it was unfortunately, it was very real. I really, you know, the way I look at it and the way I view it is, you know, if you look at these superstars that are musicians or sports figures that are worth a lot of money, they do basically the same things. They take their private jet to their yachts, and they have these hookers if they want to do it, and they have the drugs if they want to do it. But back then, it was, I hate to say it, sex, drugs, and a lot of rock and roll.
Really? So it was real?
It was very real.
All those prostitutes on the plane?
I have one word to say, and that's Gina. And if you're out there, you remember who we are.
And all those Quaaludes?
There were many.
Many?
Many.
Was that his drug of choice?
His drug of choice, he complained of back pain. So his drug of choice was Quaaludes, and then he had back surgery. So he was mixing a little cocktail of Quaaludes and morphine. And, you know, unfortunately, being his closest friend, there were many a time that I had to not only watch over him, but, like, peel him off the concrete because he would turn into liquid right in front of my eyes. And it wasn't a pretty scene, especially if you were out in a fancy restaurant and in the middle of the meal, he just, like, decided to pass out into his plate of food. It was an embarrassment, but, you know, it went with who we were and what we did.
How did Nadine put up with it?
Nadine had a very hard time, and being that my ex-wife Bonnie and I were her very close friends, she called to us and reached out to us, and as Stratton started to fall apart and Jordan was disbarred in 1995, Jordan's drug habit progressively got worse and worse.
Did it? As time went on?
As time went on towards the end, before he went into rehab. But he did things to Nadine, like he threw her down a flight of stairs. Nadine called me. I went to the house. He did a lot of vicious things, and, you know, Nadine's a great person. She's a sweet girl. I love her. If you're listening, I miss you. But, you know, again, Jordan, it's not that he's a bad person. You know, he's just got a side to him that people don't know. But when you're intoxicated or drugged, you have no control, and he did some very vicious things.
Was he also a violent guy? I mean, you said he pushed her down the stairs. Obviously, he had some violent tendencies, too.
Again, under the influence of the drugs that he was on, I don't think he had any control of that, but it was more about his rage and his power, and that was just a way of showing it.
Wow. Well, I can't wait to come back for part 2 of this. We have to break now for a minute or two, and then we'll be back again with Ross, and we're going to hear from Rob, who was Jordan Belfort's good friend from the time they were 10.
Live from the Sloman Studio at Long Island MacArthur Airport's Broadcast Center. Sloman's, the trusted provider of home security services. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME to find out how you can get the Sloman Shield for free. WRC in Riverhead. This is 103.9 LI News Radio.
For LI News Radio, I'm Jay Oliver. Well, police in Riverhead are looking for the man involved in a shooting at the Hyatt Place Hotel on East Main Street downtown. Officials say 2 masked gunmen walked up to Jerome Eliezer in his car at the time. When he refused to relinquish his car, the men shot through the window. Authorities said the men fired at a nearby hotel as well. Eliezer was not hurt in the incident. Now, anyone with information is asked to call the Riverhead Police Department at 631-727-4500. The leader of a high-tech burglary ring that stole $10 million in goods and cash from homes and businesses faces state charges. Officials said 40-year-old Nikitas Margelos of West Babylon pled not guilty, and 4 accused associates also face state charges. A crowd of about 300 people in West Babylon were told money is coming in within weeks, so rebuilding one's home is imminent. Ones that were damaged from Superstorm Sandy. State officials telling the crowd since homeowners have expressed frustration regarding delays and red tape. John Kamen, special advisor to Governor Andrew Cuomo for Long Island storm recovery, telling the crowd at a special Q&A at a school that nearly $100 million has been distributed already to about 3,000 homeowners, reimbursing them for out-of-pocket costs. 103.9, Suffolk County's official home of the New York Islanders. All the games heard, play-by-play. For LI News Radio, I'm Jay Oliver.
Here's the latest from ABC News. I'm Joan Bennett. Weekend storms made for some harrowing rescues. A 14-year-old Georgia girl says she's thankful to be alive. She was pinned for more than 90 minutes yesterday after a tree fell on her mobile home.
Very delicate situation where we had to keep the tree stable at all times so it didn't continue to fall on this young lady.
A fire rescue crew used inflatable bags to lift the tree off her legs. Miraculously, she wasn't hurt. A 2-year-old girl is recovering in the hospital after being rescued from inside a septic tank in Maricopa, Arizona. The girl was walking with her mom when the septic tank lid buckled under her and she fell in. She was under for several minutes, blue in the face and not breathing. 2 Good Samaritans jumped in, pulled the girl out, and gave her CPR. This woman saw the whole thing.
This angel, young woman who came and took control, started CPR and gave her mouth-to-mouth, and the little child started showing some signs of life.
And in West Virginia, the University of Charleston is shutting down its main campus until further notice because of a lack of clean water, that chemical spill from Thursday. More subpoenas are expected tomorrow in the traffic scandal dogging New Jersey Governor Chris Christie. ABC News Chief Legal Affairs anchor Dan Abrams says there are some big questions remaining.
Do they find any correspondence, or do witnesses say something that contradicts what Christie said in the press conference? That would be my concern if I were him right now, rather than true legal. So it's the legal investigation that could lead to political fallout.
As the Detroit International Auto Show gets underway tomorrow, touting new versions of the iconic Mustang and Corvette, the auto industry is a little worried about a big drop in new car purchases by young people, 18 to 34, down 30% over the last 5 years. This is ABC News.
LI News Radio traffic.
You're right on the road. Still a very nice and quiet one. We've got no reports of any troubles on the LIE from Medford into the Calverton area. Middle Country Road, Parker Road, also doing very well both ways. 25A moving along nicely from Rocky Point into Wading River. And no reports of any troubles on Montauk Highway, pretty much the full length. Sunrise Highway is also in pretty good shape as you travel along from Brookhaven into Hampton Bays. This report is brought to you by Garmin. Only a Garmin Nuvi with real directions tells you where to turn by pointing out easy-to-see landmarks, like turn left after the gas station. Get a Garmin, the most trusted name in GPS. I'm Cindy Waitman on 103.9 LI News Radio.
LI News Radio weather.
Mostly clear, mid-30s. Monday, mostly sunny. Southwest breeze 5 to 15, 49. Chance of rain after midnight Monday night, 39. Chance of rain on Tuesday, high of 49. Meteorologist John Weatherby, 103.9 LI News Radio.
People by Santorini Associates Investment Research.
Hey, Dan, did you hear Obama took a pay cut?
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he took a 5% pay cut because that's what other government workers were losing due to the recent sequester.
Well, you know that's peanuts for him, right? I mean, he gets paid a pretty hefty salary as president. But did you know that he also makes an additional $72,000 on average per month on the side?
Wait, President Obama collects money from something other than his job?
Crazy, right?
Where's all this extra cash coming from?
Well, last week I came across a website called secretincome2.com, which explained exactly where the money comes from. But the cool thing is, it also shows how guys like you and me can rake in thousands of dollars every month by taking advantage of essentially the same income secret Obama uses.
You mean there's a way I can do this for myself? Come on, that sounds too good to be true.
If you don't believe me, go to secretincome2.com and check out the story. It's totally free, and you don't have to sign up for anything.
What's that website again?
It's www.secretincome2.com.
Prescriptions can be filled anywhere. Barth's Pharmacy fills the script while you wait. Barth's is fast, reliable, and dependable. Barth's Pharmacy can even compound your prescription. A compounded prescription can only be filled at Barth's on Montauk Highway in East Moriches. Ask your doctor to call Barth's for all compounded prescriptions. Barth's Pharmacy is also located on Sunset Ave in West Hampton Beach and coming soon on Montauk Highway in East Quogue next to the East Quogue Pizza Deli. Barth's. Their name may be funny, but they take your satisfaction seriously.
Get unheard of deals on durable, easy-to-install floors at Lumber Liquidators laminate and vinyl plank flooring sale. All laminate flooring is 20 to 30% off our incredibly low prices. All vinyl plank is 10% off. Take it from an expert.
Vinyl plank is durable and installs in a snap. Plus, it's extremely water resistant. So come on in. We'll make sure you get the right floor for you.
Plus, get special financing. Laminate and vinyl plank flooring sale is going on now. Visit lumberliquidators.com or the flooring experts at your local store today. Financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payment required.
Hey, it's Stephanie with Stephanie O Show. We're back. And we're back with Adrian. Adrian, you there?
Yeah, I'm so glad you can hear me now.
Yes, I can hear you. I missed you. So I hope you got to hear the first part of this. It was very, very interesting. Go ahead.
I heard a little bit of it. I mean, this is a crazy situation. These are real people.
These are real people, and this was a real story, except the movie changed the entire story around. So now we're getting to hear the real deal. So we're back with Ross and Rob, and it's Rob's turn. So, Rob, what's going on?
These days? Or those days?
Now, let's start with these days. What's going on?
These days, I got a house full of girls. I got the 3 girls and my wife, so I got my hands full at home.
Okay.
Miss the old days a little bit.
Do you?
Yeah.
What do you miss most?
I guess sometimes just packing up and, taking off and going to some country or jumping on a plane and going somewhere and not having to find a babysitter or worry about the kids.
Yeah, well, I guess we all feel that way, whether we're...
Oh, you have 8. You have 8 or 9?
I have 8.
10.
8 kids.
You working on 9 or no?
No, we're done. 8 is enough. Remember that old show, 8 is enough?
Yes.
8 is enough. I understand it.
And 3's enough for me.
So I know you have a lot of questions, Adrian, so go ahead. It's your turn.
I do, you guys. I saw the movie last night, and I was gripping my seat, and it was crazy. But I think the craziest part about it is how much everyone was made to adore this guy in the movie, Jordan. Adore him. How adoring he was and how everyone adored him. But come on, tell us really what else. I mean, people must have hated him.
Well, I would say the people that worked for him were very, very, very loyal. As well as his friends. And first of all, I do apologize. I didn't see the movie, so I can't comment yet on it. So maybe Jordan's comment about me in the book, how I was a cheapskate. I'm waiting for free tickets, Jordan. So you can send them over to your time. This is cheapskate.
Where do you
Rob.
want to go? Tickets to where? Where are we sending you?
To the movies. I'm not. He's going to send me tickets.
I thought you wanted to fly.
No, I'm a cheap. As per the book, I'm a cheapskate.
He doesn't want to donate that $13.
Not true.
No, I don't blame you. We need to send you a screener. I didn't say that on the radio, but you need a screener.
Adrian, I'll answer the question real quick. Jordan was a control freak. I've read a lot recently about his Napoleon syndrome, and it's funny that people write about that because I've been saying that for years. He basically manipulated everybody. He always had something dangling, whether it was from me or Rob or the brokers or anybody else. He always had something to manipulate them, and that was his claim to fame. That's why everybody was so in love with him, because he controlled. He had the control. It's called the power of the dollar. Unfortunately,
right, I was going to say.
It's got a little too much power, and we all got caught up in it. We had a great time. I lived my past. I can't turn back time. There were things I'd like to get rid of, but we enjoyed, and he's living high on the hog now at our expense.
It's interesting you say that, because there was a scene in the movie. Did you see the movie?
Yes, I did, Adrian.
Okay. There's a scene in the movie. It's just one tiny bit. I think it sort of sums up basically the entire experience, I think, for me. which was the girl who stood there and they paid her $10,000 to shave her head. And the pain of watching her shave her head, it was basically...
It's interesting that you picked that part out, because I looked at that part as an awful, awful experience. I thought to myself, look what this woman would do for money.
Well, can I interject real quick?
Absolutely.
If, looking back in time, a 19 or 20-year-old girl that's starting out as a new broker, and the boss turns to her and goes, listen, I'll give you $10,000 for, as it was written, she needed a boob job and wanted a boob job. And to shave your head for $10,000, there's a lot of people out there that would do that today for a lot less. So it did happen. I was not a witness to it, but I do know what happened. And that's what went on back in the Stratton days.
Yeah, the problem is today, though, Ross, those boobs are about 30,000. 10,000 was the old days.
You're an expert at this, huh?
No comment.
Did she get the boobs? Do we know? Was this real? Was this real? First of all,
that was very real. Whether she got them or not, I don't recall.
She might have been paid $50 to have them removed. We don't know. But we don't know that.
Let me ask you: did either one of you know the woman broker in the story?
Which woman?
There was a woman broker who he talked about that she asked for $5,000, but he gave her $25,000, and it was the one part that I said to myself, maybe he really is a little human. Like, they brought a human side to it for me. And, although I know he stole from all these investors, you see, I know that there's no way that all of you, and I don't mean you guys, I meant all the brokers there, live the kind of lifestyle they lived without somebody losing money. It's just the way it is. But then they sort of humanized him a little bit to me when I saw that woman and she was down on her luck and she asked for $5,000 and he gave her $25,000. Was that true?
Yes, indeed, that was true. And just a few more tales. When Jordan's first daughter was born, well, his daughter, he has a daughter and son. When Chandler was born at Long Island Jewish Hospital, Jordan gave all the nurses in the baby ward brand new Cartier solid gold watches, which I think cost him somewhere around $18,000 a piece. I guess when you're making unlimited funds and it's coming in hand over fist and it's illegal, it's very easy to burn through money, and he was a very generous person with everybody else's money.
Right.
That's what it boils down to.
Well, it seemed like everything he went to excess with.
Very over-excessive with everything he did. He had, he took up golf and he wanted to play golf. I happen to be a very good golfer, and Steve Madden was a great golfer, so Jordan wanted to keep up with the Jonesies. How
did you know Steve Madden, by the way? They showed it in the movie. Was that true?
It's very true, and Danny grew up with Steve Madden.
Now, Danny was Donnie?
Donnie, right. Danny, Jordan's partner, grew up with Steve Madden in the Five Towns in Lawrence. And it was Danny that brought Steve Madden to the forefront of going public. I happen to have known Steven prior. He worked at a few companies that I did printing for back in the day. Steve's a great guy, very down to earth, and got caught up in something.
Talented or not talented?
Ultra talented. A brilliant, brilliant man. Designs his own stuff. He's traveled the world looking at different things, and he's not where he is today by any sense of illegality. He is where he is today because he's hands-on and a brilliant guy.
Wow.
I never got any free shoes either.
You wanted those marshmallows.
I'm going to have to get you some free shoes. I'll figure that one out.
Cheapo Rob, that's for the buck.
Oh, my God. We're starting to believe him now. That's very scary. Wow.
So you guys, I'm sorry, I got cut off before. I don't know how much you heard, but I basically said that it summed up the movie for me, that watching that woman basically have her whole head shaved in front of everybody for $10,000. And I was sort of going, people were exploited.
Right. We kind of talked about that, and about how just money got him anything he wanted. And I also talked to them about the fact that we never saw any investors. We never saw any losses throughout the whole movie.
Yeah, what did you guys think of that? I mean, that was sort of, the whole thing was about how amazing he was, and there was nothing about really how much people suffered. A teensy bit, but nothing. We never saw any people suffering, that's for sure.
Well, right. I could definitely see where this could, raise some hot flashes for the people that lost money, and, they're out there, and, I think they have some restitution to be received, but I could see where this would, definitely hit a sore spot had I been in
Well, $110 million he owes, right?
Well, they confiscated his 2 homes and whatever, the cars and whatever else he had. So I think he owes a balance.
Which added up to $11 million.
Well,
so
I think he owes $90-some odd million. Again, it's a number, but there's a lot of people out there that are hurting. And if you do your homework, a few years back, actually it was like 5 or 6 years back, CNBC did a piece, American Greed.
Right.
And Jordan was on that. And they interviewed, an 80-year-old couple in Florida that lost everything they had.
Oh, my God.
Now, look at people like that. What do you do at 80 years old? Do you start your life over? Do you go to McDonald's and start working to put food on the table? Your grandchildren are expecting or hoping to get something. Those are the people that really got hurt. And not that anybody should get hurt, but that's sad.
I mean, that being said, American Greed, I watch it all the time. This happens to be a very small piece compared to what you can see on American Greed. Bernie Madoff with Trump, all of this. And I think all the other examples on American Greed are much, much bigger than this. This was a small, pocket situation that happened in Long Island a long time ago. And
but did any of these brokers ever feel bad for what was going on? They knew people were. They knew, right?
You know what it really was?
Can I ask you a question? If you were 20 and you were offered $20,000 to shave your head, I'd probably offer me cheap. I'd offer you $5,000. But
would I do it?
Yeah,
no, absolutely not.
How about you, Adrian?
Nope.
Never.
Well, let me ask you a question, because if you're joining a fraternity or a sorority, and they do some crazy stuff in college, and it's for free. So these kids basically didn't go to college, so they did it for money.
I agree. I mean, listen, I think, Stephanie, you probably never suffered terribly in college. I mean, I had a father who took care of me. So it's not like I had to go shave my head,
Right.
But people do. People don't have anything.
Absolutely.
They don't have anything.
Right. And I guess I was the same way. I was sort of fortunate that my, parents took care of me. So maybe I could be a little more understanding. But I can't wrap my hand around the fact that so many people lost money and not one person in that place had a conscience. Anyway, it's Stephanie with the Stephanie O Show. We're going to break, and we're going to come right back. I know this is exciting, but we got a 1 or 2 minute break, and we'll be right back.
This is a special announcement to all LI News Radio listeners. If you're currently making payments on a vehicle, do not, I repeat, do not make another payment before calling Westbury Toyota at 877-331-9294. That's right, starting December 16th and ending January 12th, regardless of whether you're leasing or financing your vehicle, Westbury Toyota urges you to call them at 877-331-9294. Don't put another dime towards your current car, truck, or SUV until you've spoken to them. With current incentives and manufacturer programs at all-time highs, Westbury Toyota may be able to get you out of your current vehicle and into a new or pre-owned Toyota at a lower payment with little or no money out of your pocket. So why continue to pay for something you don't love when you can get into a newer car and pay less than you are today? Call Westbury Toyota at 877-331-9294 today. This exclusive offer to all LI News Radio listeners is only valid through January 12th.
Live from the Sloman Studio at Long Island MacArthur Airport's Broadcast Center, Sloman's, the trusted provider of home security services. Call 1-800-ALARM-ME to find out how you can get the Sloman Sheen for free. WRC and Riverhead.
Portnoy, the real entourage from the Wolves of Wall Street. These were the guys who really worked with Jordan Belfort, who knew Jordan Belfort, who were part of his inner circle, who went on the trips with Jordan Belfort, who saw what actually went on. Who can tell us what's real, what's not real? How much of the Wolf of Wall Street is real?
Well, can I first say that I didn't work with Jordan Belfort? I had nothing to do with the brokerage firms.
Okay, well you did work with him. Let's talk turkey here.
We live life large. I mean.
Okay, but you were the printer, so you did sort of work with him in some capacity.
I did the printing for all the firms. Yes, I did.
Okay, so you worked with him, not as a broker.
Yes, I did.
Okay.
I apologize.
Anyway, so we're getting the real story here. We also have Adrian Schwartz on, senior editor from Star Magazine. Adrian is the girl. She is the woman. She writes all the main stories for Star Magazine, Radar Online. She's my co-host, my partner in crime. Yo, Adrian, what's going on?
Hey. Well, I just, I didn't hear the beginning a little bit, and I just wanted to know, these guys partied. You guys partied like crazy. How much of this really went on?
Well, personally, I didn't party that much. I don't need to backpedal, but I was not in any of the leagues that these guys were in. These guys partied extremely hard. I was in, I went along for the ride. It was a great ride. Like I said, took a helicopter to the airport, took a private Learjet to the yacht, and, we traveled the world. It was a great party. To me, that was the greatest high in life, was being able to do these things, because not many people could experience that. But as far as the drugs...
The prostitutes?
Yeah, they were there.
They were there. I want to ask you, though, about the boat. I know both of you were on the boat when it sank. The boat we're talking about is the Nadine. I think they call it the Naomi in the movie.
The Naomi, yes.
All right. The Nadine was a real boat. What was it, 135
foot? It was
foot?
167 feet.
Oh, my goodness.
It was originally
owned... That's a yacht.
Yes, it was a yacht. It was a yacht.
A boat.
The moral to the story is, to put it in a nutshell, because, obviously there are other people that want to know the true story and the whole story, and we're here on a live show, and we're limited for time. But, yes, we were on the boat. Jordan made a very poor decision by disobeying the captain's orders about not taking off. We hit a freak storm. If anybody saw the movie The Perfect Storm, that's exactly what we hit in the Mediterranean.
Oh my God.
And we hit besides 30-foot waves, we hit a rogue wave that was 60 or 70 feet tall, and it destroyed the boat. And we ended up we put out a mayday call. Rome sent 2 helicopters. They made us throw our helicopter, which you see in the movie, off the boat to have an area to land. But they had to abort their mission because after an hour and a half, they ran low on fuel, and there was no way they could get that basket down safely. So they left, and they left us, I hate to say it, out to dry.
How scary was it? That's what
I literally, on probably 5 or 6 occasions, thought my life was over. All our lives were over.
I know you told me that you all tied yourselves together.
Well, there was one point where one of the crew members, without asking permission from the captain, decided to abandon ship, brought us to the back of the yacht, which was, all the furniture was gone, and he took a little lifeboat, this lifeboat, and said, everybody's, I'm going to throw it in the water, and everybody jump into it. He threw the lifeboat into the water, and the thing disappeared. And I turned to everybody, to Nadine, to my ex-wife, and whoever was with us, and said, we're going back in the main salon. Nobody's leaving this boat. And that's when we grabbed all the curtains that had rope in them, and I tied ropes together, and they said, if we're going to leave this boat, we're all going to be together.
And you tied each other.
What's funny, Nadine? What's funny is...
Adrian.
Nadine, we're talking about Nadine. Adrian, from what I hear about the movie, it depicts Danny on the boat. So, Russ, do you remember Danny being on that boat?
I think Danny was on the boat when we were in the Bahamas and in Bimini, but, as far as going to Sardinia...
I didn't say anyone looked like Danny on the boat.
Danny, I don't think, unless he was in a closet or under one of the cushions. I don't know. He wasn't on the boat.
He's been known to sleep over once in a while.
It doesn't look like Danny was on the boat.
It was actually 8 of us.
because you guys didn't do enough drugs, you see.
That's what it was.
It was actually 8 of us and 11 crew. 11 crew
That's
members.
correct.
Most of which were hiding underneath the...
Were the crew members scared?
The crew members were hiding under the dining room table.
6 or 7 crew members that were crying hysterically.
Yeah.
Not knowing what to do.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Those are the ones that were supposed to be watching out for us.
That makes you appreciate life.
You know what,
Your little
Adrian?
girls.
I still lose sleep over this. I can tell you the date. It was June 23rd, 1996, like it was yesterday.
Wow.
And it's, being that the book came out and I had to relive this, and now this movie came out and I have to relive it again is ironic, but yet, I guess it's a part of life. But dealing with it's seeing
hard.
the movie.
It is.
I sat with the movie with my wife, Andrea, and when that boat scene came on, I lost it.
I have to stop you because we're running out of time. And one of the things I want to know about is what was like at 10 years old?
Well, I'm not writing a book or a movie. I actually know him since he's about 20. But if I was writing a book or a movie, I know him since he's 1-year-old.
Right.
So,
What was he like at 20?
Jordy was always out there. He was. We went to different colleges, but we were always friends, going to the Hamptons, and we would always travel together.
I know him from his teen years.
I remember in Puerto
What
Rico.
was he like? Because we're running out of time, and I just want a quick
What was he like? He was always a hustler. Worked at Jones Beach selling ices. Hired other kids to sell ices for him. He had
At Jones Beach?
At Jones Beach, West End too. Not only did he sell ices to when it was 105 degrees out, everybody kept running for him. But he also learned the art of pinching the bottom of the cup, so his one scoop Look like two. Got over on those people, too. God bless you, Jordan Belfort. You have a piece of work.
He roasted on Jones Beach. We only got a half a scoop of ices.
I do remember lending him, if we went to Puerto Rico, hey, can I borrow a sport jacket? I remember lending him money to gamble. Very intelligent guy. Picked up craps almost overnight.
Well, unfortunately, the show is done.
Yeah.
It's Stephanie. I know. You know what? I'd like to do a part 2, but right now it's Stephanie with the Stephanie O Show. I have to say goodbye. I want to say happy birthday, Paul. I want to say goodbye to my children. I'll see you guys soon. And that's it for this week. Till next week. Thank you, Adrian.
Live